What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I wanted to overall talk on a serious topic. Some people have debated with me on whether or not, I've had depressed moments in my life. And I remember the last time somebody, when we got into it about, overall talking on depression and stuff, somebody had told me that oh, you don't have depression, you're just sad. Either one is better than the other one. Oh yeah, it's okay being sad. That's, oh yeah, you're fine if you're just sad. I that's one thing that I just never understood about a person. When somebody, they come out and they say that, hey, I think I'm suffering from depression, or I think I'm going through a depressed state, or I overall think that I am depressed. Like, and that's the thing where I'm like, it's not like I just came up out the woodworks and just said I'm depressed. Gave you guys no background, no story, no nothing on why I'm depressed. I will tell my story on why I think I am depressed. Okay, and then also I would just talk on overall how I've changed as a person. Times before, I remember, I just remember when I was younger that things like that would make me upset. I'll let off all my anger right then and there. I'll get mad, yell, scream, cry, do whatever I need to do, right? And then next day, I'm fine. I am completely 100% fine. By next week, I've forgotten all about the situation. See, here's the thing. If a person makes me mad, I'm still the same way I used to be. When I was younger, I would just, hey, don't even worry about it. We cool now. And I'm still the same way till this day. But things just, this time around, being an adult, being older, stuff lingers in my head. Now, I don't know if that's just how it is being an adult, or if that's another just, thing about depression, but I don't know. But there's just certain things that gets to me, and I'm not happy about it. I don't, and my thing is that when they say that you're not depressed, you're just sad, I'm like, okay, if I break my arm, I don't need a doctor to tell me that my arm is broken. I can clearly see my bone protruding out of my arm and stuff. So that's how it is with depression. Whether it's mental or physical, this is something that I'm dealing with. This is something that I'm facing. This is something that I'm not trying to push off on other people. I'm not trying, if I go out my way to talk to somebody, that's because I really need somebody to talk to. But I'm not expecting somebody to be my doctor or to check up on me 24/7 and that's why I'm overall doing this episode, to just let people know how I manage to get through depression, because it's a thing that people deal with on a regular basis. I have to say that a lot of people that I know, a lot of people deal with depression, and that's just one thing where I'm I just think that it's kind of stupid to you have to get a doctor's approval on whether you're depressed or not. That's just something that I've never really, maybe with other things possibly, maybe, because I know some people reference the situation. I remember I did talk on that, and I did have some things to say about that. But I know when Trisha Paytas was saying that she has some sort of split personality disorder thing, I can't think of the exact name of it, but she was going out saying how she's transgender, and then she was going out saying how she was this and that and blah blah. So my thing is yeah, something like that, debatable. But I feel with depression, you don't just joke around with something like that. You don't just say that just, my thing is that I'm saying this now when I don't have any attention. I'm saying this when I'm literally just talking to myself while I'm doing this podcast episode. So my thing is that when this episode does blow up, when people do hear this episode, when people do listen to it, whether it's a few people or whether it's millions of people, just understand and just know I was doing this when I literally had how many viewers or estimated audience members do I get on my podcast? Because it's not a lot. I'll tell you that right now, it is not a lot. I get an estimated, let it load, estimated audience 7 based on my recent episodes. So I'm not getting a whole lot of people watching my episodes. So therefore, I'm not doing this for attention. I'm not doing this so people like. And the funny thing about it is that I've been saying this for a while, and I know some people would think that, oh, I was saying this because I remember at one point in time when I was like, dealing with hate. I did come out in the video and I talked about how I was overall dealing with depression, and people was like, of course, like just hating and stuff, saying crazy stuff, and then and even now, like when the hate is not even like really taking any effect on any of my channels, like I'm still saying the same thing. So there's obviously something wrong. There's obviously something going on. I don't know necessarily what. Maybe it is depression. Maybe it's something else that hasn't been discovered yet, or maybe it's not like it's like the lower level before depression, before it reaches like the depression level, like there's something beneath it. But overall, I know that I'm different. I know that I've been feeling different ever since I was like 16 years old. So that's why I'm like, something like that where it's been going on for that long, like almost 10 years, bro. Like, nah. I'm like, that's just somewhere I'm like 10 years of just feeling sad. No, I refuse to believe that anybody is just, you be feeling sad for almost 10 years. Nah, don't believe that. Do not believe that at all. So, but this is how overall like got through it, and it's pretty easy and it's pretty simple, and I overall will be talking on the stuff that I did, but keeping yourself busy, overall working. So if working, if something just overall takes your mind off of things, because there's like many things that, that I can discuss and talk about that makes me depressed, but I don't. There's just I feel like I'm only giving y'all a preview. And I remember I did try to like talk about it at one point in time. I remember I made like a whole like documentary about myself to just, overall like talk on it, but I took it down because I just felt like that it just wasn't the right time yet. I want more. My thing is that talking on this stuff, I want more people to see it. I want more people to hear me out. I want more people to hear my story and feel like better about themselves. Like, understand that, hey, things ain't permanent, and I tried telling people that they had like dealing with like depressing moments of their life. I tried telling everybody that, hey, nothing is permanent. Scars ain't permanent. Pain ain't permanent. Like nothing is happiness, sadness, anger, like anything that you can imagine. Like things is not permanent unless you keep opening up that wound to make it permanent. But other than that, like nothing is going to last forever. If stuff does last forever, then kudos to you. That's why, like don't take that hard, saying that like things don't last forever. Don't take that in a hard way, because I know some people will argue with that, and I'm like, rightfully so. You can argue with that if you want to. I'm not going to stop you from arguing with something that I say. Like if there is something that has lasted forever in your life, my thing is that maybe I shouldn't have said happiness. Maybe I should have just, left like all like everything in there besides happiness. So it's like, if you can have, your happiness last forever, good. Have your happiness last forever. I know people have tried to argue with me. Now that's one thing that people have tried to argue with me about, and I just don't take it or listen to it at all. But there's like, you can't live a positive life your whole life. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. For the rest of your life, here on out. I know it's going to, it's possible. Just understand that. People try telling me that, and I'm all like, hey, look, if you want to live a sad, reckless, just life that just doesn't really make any sense on why you're living it, because you can be living a life that's more impactful and important to yourself and to others around you. If you want to live this life where it's negative, sad, anger, you want to take out all your pain and frustration on everybody around you and not take any responsibilities for yourself, go right ahead and live that life. But understand that there is going to be people that ain't with that. They're not with the life that you want to live. That's why everybody is given each individual life. I'm not living the same life as Barack Obama or Triple H from WWE or freaking Gordon Ramsay. I'm living my life. I am living my life. And the thing is about it, my life has been, I've had some of the most stressful moments. I've had some of the most angriest moments. Currently, right now, I have to say I'm probably in the most stressful part of my life, because I am a young man trying to run multiple businesses, okay, multiple YouTube channels. I'm trying to do everything by myself, no help, no nothing, you know. And that's the thing. I like the people that I want to help, they're not helping. So what do? I sit here and I get mad, I get frustrated and angry. That's life. That is a part of life. It is okay to be angry about stuff. That's one thing that I want people to understand and know, that whatever bothers you, it's okay to be bothered by it. It's okay to speak out about it. It's not embarrassing. It's not. That's one thing that I've always have, thought of about like my life and things, like the stuff that I'm embarrassed to talk about. Like, it's not embarrassing because other people deal with this stuff. And honestly, I could like ask anybody or talk to anybody, and I have asked anybody and talked to everybody and things about the stuff that bothers me. I was just talking, there is a somewhat popular YouTuber that some of you guys might know of, some of you guys might not know of this person, but I like recently, I just pretty much had told them because they reached out to me overall to talk about this a particular video that I uploaded. And they reached out like a while ago. They reached out to me, and they was they was overall like being cool, chill. We were just having a conversation, talking and things. And that was one of the things I remember them telling me, was that if any time that I want to use their DMs as a just diary to just get things off of my mind, I can. So there was a while ago, there was just a lot of things was on my mind, from YouTube to my personal life to just everything that I can possibly think of. There's just a lot of things on my mind. And talking to them, like, we're not talking to them, but just overall just typing up everything that I could type up. I just pretty much just gave them everything that was on my mind. Everything. And it was a while ago they reached back. So they seen the messages, and they reached back out to me, and that was the one thing that they told me, that like I took that in, and they said to follow your heart. Like they said that they were all like, hey, like, not to get in your business, but in your position, I would just follow my heart. And that's something that I took. It's not even something that I take in consideration. Like, that's something that I'm following. That's something where I'm like, okay, from the heart, I just got to start doing stuff. So that's why I'm like, keeping myself busy, keeping myself occupied. So the things that do make me quote unquote sad, like I can overall just like look past that stuff and just be a better person, because that's overall, I'm more so trying to not like so much as being a better person, like, the wrong that I've done. I feel like that I've apologized, and I might have not made up for the wrong that I've done in my life, but it's a work in progress. But overall, like, I'm more so trying to just focus on being a better person for those around me. Like that was one thing I was talking about in the live stream, was that I just want to help out people. Like, that's like one of the things I just really want to do. And I feel like that, like YouTube, Pocket, like everything that I put my hands into, I feel like that it is getting me a step closer to being in that position. So overall, like, helping people, that's just like the one thing where I'm like, if I'm gonna leave this world, like, I want to leave this world being put in a history book, or being put in a newspaper, or something like that. It's like, overall, I've impacted the world to where they, if maybe not if everybody, but if some people, if they just carry on my legacy, like turn TMossBoss into like a thing, like not just it being my name, but turning it into a thing. It's something where it's like, yo, like, you hear that word and then you just automatically, like, I want that name, or even my real government name, Tyler Jamal Moss, or whatever name that you want to use. I go by so many different names, but whatever name that you want to use, or even just looking at my face, I want that like type of like hypnotizing, just, thing about myself, to where people look at me for motivation, but I'm not trying to, like, my thing is, like, I'm not trying to be like God, or I'm not trying to be like Jesus, or, some impactful leader, but just for the misguided, or the depressed, or the sad, or whatever category you want to put yourselves into. Like, honestly, yes, pray to God, do what you need to do what you can. Like, but overall, I'm just saying, like, I'm not trying to be no king, God, Jesus, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, none of that stuff, like, but I am, like, following in their footsteps. I am trying to say impactful things and leave impactful words into people, but it's like, I just want to at least be one of the things that, like, pushes you into greatness and stuff. But overall, just know, like, and I feel like maybe because, I'm not trying. My thing is, like, I ain't trying to be, first place. I ain't trying to be, like, before God. Like, no. Just letting y'all know, like, what got me to this point was overall praying, keeping faith, praying to God, overall just being strong about myself. So that's one thing that has, like, kept me going in things. I know some of you guys might not be that religious and things, and I'm not trying to push that onto you and stuff, but I'm just saying, like, to just talk on me and stuff, it's that. And then overall just people in my life where I'm like, hey, yo, like, I'm doing, because that's one thing I just recently did. I reached out to Priscilla from Four Souls, and I had found, like, so that's one thing that I told her was that I want to, get, look, because her and her family has a painting business. So I said, I'm like, I want to, like, get a billboard or multiple billboards put up around Seattle for you guys. She said it's too expensive. I'm like, I don't care. Like, I do not care at all. You might see it as expensive. I see it as an opportunity. I don't care whether it's expensive or not. So, yeah, that's just one thing about me. I'm like, I don't really care, like, how much problems or how much trouble it will put in my life. My thing is that if I care for a person, there's not any amount of money, pain, suffering, hard work, labor. There's nothing that will stop me from, like, accomplishing what I want to do. I need to make that into a poster or something. Like, there's, like, if you truly do care for a person, there's not, like, any amount of money or nothing that can, like, stop you from really showing this person, like, how much you care for them. Like, that's one thing for sure. I'm like, yo, if I care about a person, I'm just like, I need to them to know that. So definitely when I do make YouTube into more of a living, I'm like, hey, yo, like, I'm gonna go at it. I'm gonna really be going at it and stuff. So anyways, yeah, I guess now I can go ahead and end this episode. I just need to get some things off my chest. But anyways, however I got through depression is just, I mean, well, I'm not saying I'm, like, fully out of it, but I'm just saying, like, what has been my medicine, what's kept me, going and stuff, and not just fully giving up on life, but being occupied, keeping my mind focused. I know it might be hard. I know it might be something where you're like, dang, I can't do it. I can't, like, no, you can. That's why I'm like, that's one thing I've said it before, and I'm preaching it now, where I'm like, look, anything is possible. Do not think for a second that, oh, life is impossible. Being a YouTuber is impossible. Being an actor is impossible. Being a musician is impossible. Nothing is impossible. People have put, that's one thing, if I'm going to talk on, things being impossible, people have put that illusions in others' head that stuff is impossible because they can't do it themselves. And if you can't do it yourself, then I'm like, okay, then that's on you. But there's probably been millions and millions of people that have lived out their whole life to the fullest, and they haven't been able to do the things that they wanted to do because somebody told them that it's impossible. Nothing is impossible. Understand that. Take that. Tattoo it on your arm. Tattoo it on your leg. Tattoo it on your face if you need to, because I know face tats is a thing now. Don't do that. That's too much. But anyways, I'm just saying, like, when people tell me that stuff is impossible, being the biggest YouTuber in the world is impossible, having 30-something YouTube channels is impossible, having thousands of videos is impossible, overall just being who I am, being TMossBoss, being Tyler Jamal Moss is impossible. Now, yes, that is impossible. Being me is impossible since everybody's lives is different. But either taking it a step further, raising the bar, doing whatever, like when they come to me saying, oh, I'm a college kid, or I'm a high school kid, or I'm a middle school kid, elementary, preschool, whatever, if you are currently dealing with something, if you are going through life dealing with something, just understand it is possible to get through it. Because sit down and think about it. Let's say if you're in college right now, you got through preschool, elementary, middle school, high school, and now you're in college, and you think that you can't get through college. You're giving up. You're feeling like, oh, I need to drop out or any of that stuff. If going through college is what you want to do, it is possible. That's just one thing that you have to know is like it's all about finding a way. Don't think for a second there's no other, roads. My thing is like if there's no other roads there and stuff, how do you imagine that? Do you imagine it where there's just like what, just one big giant forest, or like how do you imagine an area where there's no roads? There's obviously grass. You obviously got 2 feet. Don't think for a second, oh, the grass is too tall, the trees is too thick, this and that, and blah blah. Like I can't go through this stuff. No, my thing is Mike. Hold on for a second. Mike Tyson. Let's just see how many fights he has won. Wikipedia. Did I skip it? Not sure it did. Mike Tyson had went through 50 people. He went through 50 people. Did you think throughout the time he went through those 50 people, it was like a total of like 58 fights that he's been in, but he's won 50. Do you think for a second that in those fights, he was like, I can't get through this person? He did. And he knocked out 44 of those people. The other ones he just won because he's just that good. But Floyd Mayweather. Let's talk on him. Undefeated boxer. Where is he at? 50 fights. He went through 50 people. Did you think for a second he thought, I can't get through this person? He did. And he won. He's undefeated. He's one of the greatest boxers of all time. So that's what I'm like, you have to understand it from another person's point of view at times where you think that something is impossible. If you're like, oh, I can't do this, or I can't do, like, no, you can. Don't come to me. My thing is, that's something that I say. I'm like, do not come to me thinking that you can't do something because there's this illusion in the world that stuff is impossible. Nothing is impossible. Everything is possible. All right. So understand that. All right. But just know that keeping yourself occupied, keeping yourself busy, keeping yourself, focused on something that you want to do, you're going to get through it. So, and that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. If you're viewing this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. And if you're viewing this on the podcast streaming service, make sure you follow or subscribe, however it's set up. Subscribe to any of my 31 YouTube channels. Follow me on Twitch, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. All of you can just by search up TMossBoss. Like my Facebook page. You search up either TMossBoss or TMossBoss fan page and it should pop up. But yeah, and that being said, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.